Here we are. We are live now on Twitter. You can say hello to your brother-in-law.
Hi.
Okay, so that's really, really quick, and I know you just presented. You've got some food and some energy and some water
I do.
right there. So one of the things that really captured my attention about your presentation was working with the smaller communities in Alaska to use the resources that they have available to provide all of the stuff that they need to be a modern community.
Right,
electricity, heat, and sustenance. Talk a little bit about why you want to do this research.
Okay, well, historically these systems have been considered in isolation, and so actually this unlike a lot of research, this actually started outside in the lower 48, and they're looking at systems like, for example, most of our electricity is still created with steam, whether it's coal or nuclear or biomass or whatever, and despite the large inroads that renewables are making, it's still a lot of steam, and that's a lot of water withdrawals. And so they're looking at how to more actively manage water versus energy. And then they started to roll food into the picture a few years after they started the water energy nexus. So now it's the food energy water nexus, being that energy creates food, food creates energy, energy creates water, water, you need water to make energy, you need energy to make water, and it all ties together. So NSF actually put out a call for different researchers to look at the food energy water nexus, and us, we northern people realized that it looks a lot different at northern latitudes, being that we have isolated communities. We are often food insecure, especially now in the face of climate change. A lot of our food is subsistence food, so like salmon runs heavily depend on the weather. Even the way marine mammals are behaving is altering with the weather, and so the food energy water nexus actually looks a lot different in Alaska. And the other thing is our energy and our water systems to begin with are more primitive than the lower 48, and so we have a unique opportunity to develop them in parallel as a nexus rather than impose the nexus after the two systems
Just to give
are
everybody a
established.
2-minute warning.
Noise!
120 seconds. Down.
Yeah.
So those in the back
I
row
lost track. What was your question?
That was
Did I
it.
answer
I
it?
Come through with your snacks and some coffees.
Because
And
you said
everybody
something that
else,
really grabbed my
standing
attention.
up. Now's your chance to find your seat. Sit to you next to your friend. Talk to the person maybe next to you. If you don't know them, and we'll be on to the next group of presentations. So 2 minutes.
So Alaska is not just a laboratory for natural stuff, but it's also how can a community evolve with sustainable energy and grow along the way and see what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly, and since Alaska is sort of more primitive in our energy and water systems, we actually have a unique opportunity. Like a lot of other developing regions, like in other rural communities worldwide, they're going direct to renewables. Kind of like how they're going direct to cell phones and they've never had landlines. It's kind of like that. Their energy systems, they're going direct to natural gas. They've never had coal. They're going direct to renewables, and so rural Alaska similarly has this unique opportunity since it's relatively undeveloped compared to the lower 48, and so they're going direct to renewable and renewable diesel systems hybridized together, plus integrating the water picture at the same time. It's like the water leg, I'm actually not as personally involved. Srijan Agarwal is heading up the water part, and but it's also really interesting because obviously the water system utilizes a lot of energy, and a lot of the energy needed is heat. And as I said in my talk, heat is one of the easiest dispatchable loads for energy generation. And what I mean by that is like when you're using renewables, they're intermittently produced, like when the sun is shining, when the wind is blowing, and when more wind is blowing than a community has needs, it would be nice to put that somewhere and store it. And heat is a really easy, relatively inexpensive way to utilize it. And in Alaska, as you probably know, we have a very high heat demand, and keeping the water system thawed is actually a good use of heat. ANTHC actually has done some
everybody,
research
if we
on that.
could take our seats.
Okay,
and
thank you. Oh my God.
Okay. All right, well, anyway, there's a lot of interesting information out there, so it's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
We'll let them come
Obviously,
through.
we've
So
got
now
to
we've
go.
got a
All right.
conversation
Yeah, all right.
School of Education.